Hello and welcome back to another Shadowlands gold making video. Before we start the video itself, I'm going to tell you guys there are some spoilers, actually a ton of spoilers, in this video, so if you don't want any spoilers, I would advise you to click away from the video straight away. We are on the PTR for 9.0.5, we have BlizzCon spoilers, we have news about 9.1, TBC Classic and everything, so click away if you don't want spoilers. Now, if you are choosing to stay around the video, then let's get right into it. So, as you've probably seen from the title and the thumbnail, there's something happening on the PTR, and this is coming already in 9.0.5, and that is basically right around the corner. I'm actually going to suggest it's going to happen in like 1, 2, max 2 weeks. It's going to come out very soon, and that is 9.0.5. We are getting Valor Points. Valor Points is something you are getting when you run dungeons, basically Mythic Plus, and if I understand this correctly, then the higher key you run, the more Valor you get, and I haven't really been looking too much into it, but I think you will be able to get Valor from daily activities as well, such as for example callings and stuff like that, but I think the actual amount you get from that will be very small, while doing Mythic Plus is how you get the most things. Nevertheless, you will get Valor from doing Mythic Plus at least, and the Valor can be used to upgrade Mythic Plus items, but Valor can also be used to make gold, or you can make gold while just getting Valor and running Mythic Plus, and that can affect the market, and that's what we're talking about in the first part of this video. So basically you can look right here, there's a weekly maximum of 750 Valor points, and right here in Oribos, the location is right here, by the way, on the PTR if you want to check it out for yourself. And I think this guy will get some updates before it goes live. I'm not sure about that one, we'll talk about that soon. But if I click on him right now, he's selling a shipment of Heavy Callous Hides, basically 10 Heavy Callous Hides, for 750 Valor points. And that is the weekly cap, so you can basically get yourself 10 Heavy Callous per week. Right now, that is valued between 500 gold and 1000 each. Depending on your server, if you're playing on a medium server, you should easily see prices about 1000 gold per Heavy Callous, but on many servers it's 400, 500 and 600 gold right now, so let's say 4 to 6000 gold per week with today's prices, and that is by getting your weekly Valor cap, which we don't know how many Valor you will get for each single dungeon. Maybe doing 1 Mythic plus 10 will give you those 750, if so, that will be really overpowered, and a lot of people will get these Heavy Callous Hides, and maybe if doing a Mythic plus 20 gives you it as well, it will still be very overpowered, and this will make it so a lot of people have their own Heavy Callous Hides, and they can sell more Heavy Callous Hides. Basically, for gold farming and gold making, it's all about supply versus demand, and this right here will drive up the supply by quite a bit. And Heavy Callous Hide has been one of those items that has been severely kinda overpriced, but also very rare so far in the expansion, because you can only get it from skinning, it's a rare item, and you can get it by combining Callous Hides into Heavy Callous as well, but the actual supply versus demand for Heavy Callous, like the supply has been very low, compared to something like Lightless Silk, where you can just mass produce those every single hour by doing 2x4 farming. For skinning, only one person can skin every single mob, so it's kind of a solo activity to farm them, and the kills per hour you get is also limited, and the amounts of Heavy Callous you get per hour is very limited. But by giving us this thing right here, a lot of more people will have Heavy Callous, and regular Mythic Plus runners will get this cap super easy, just by either capping their alts by doing one huge dungeon, like let's say a Mythic plus 15 or a Mythic plus 20, if that gives them enough Valor points they will cap very fast, very easy, and they will probably do that on many alts just to get their items anyway. Some people might choose to spend the Valor points to upgrade their items, at least in the first stages, but after let's say 3 to 4, let's say 2 months, not 3 to 4 weeks but 2 months, after 2 months you probably have spent all of your Valor points on max upgrades, and after that point you can spend your Valor points on things like this, and seeing this shipment right here of Heavy Callous Hides on the PTR kind of indicates to me that there will be other items as well. I don't see why they would give us only a shipment of Heavy Callous Hides, while leaving things like Lightless Silk and Ethereum, not Ethereum, whatever the ore is called that you can mine for as well, I don't see why they would leave those out, so I think this is just the beginning, giving us 10 Heavy Callous Hides. I think they will do some mathematical reworks on giving us lightless silks as well, so giving us a shipment of lightless silk, giving us maybe 50 or 100 lightless silk, and also do the same thing for the ores as well, giving us, it's called a lithium, there we go, giving us like, let's say 25, 40, somewhere in that range of a lithium ores as well for the same Valor cap, that you can get a shipment of Heavy Callous Hides, and I think they will do that for the legendary items. It just makes sense, because if you're doing Mythic Plus, you need legendaries, or you really want them at least. If you're doing Mythic Plus or PvE or PvP, you want to get those legendaries. And to get those legendaries, you need these materials, so by being able to purchase them, you can, for that Valor Points, you can save yourself some gold, and it just makes sense that you can buy them without spending gold, so you can buy your legendaries simply by doing Mythic Plus and doing irregular activities. So if nothing else, I really think they will give us a shipment of lightless silk and a lithium as well. Now here's where this gets interesting if you ask me, and that is they're adding this in 9.0.5, and they're giving us really easy access to legendary materials in 9.0.5. So for 9.1, there's two things they can do to the legendary system. They can either give us actually there's several things, but they can either give us new materials and build either new legendaries or new ranks on those complete new materials, or they can add on to the rank system, so give us legendaries rank 5, rank 6, maybe rank 7, and so on, meaning people will need a ton of Heavy Callous, lightless silk, and a lithium, and giving us bags like these will make it much easier to get those materials. So I think this could be a slight indicator of them going that route, so we don't get new materials for 9.1, instead we build upon the materials we already have, and we get more easy access to those materials, and getting them through Valor Points. Now, it could also be that they are adding new materials for 9.1, and this right here will serve as a kind of catch-up mechanic for those previous ranks, for legendaries. Either way, it will be a lot more easy now, because the price will go down. Exactly how much will depend on how easy it is to get those 750 Valor Points on several characters, and how many people actually spend it on upgrading their gear, but the supply will either way go up. The demand might still keep going down, depends on what's happening in 9.1, but the supply goes up, so the price will go down. Exactly how much, I can't really tell you. But what do you think about the shipment? Do you think it's a good addition to the game? And for 9.1, do you think we'll still have the same materials and build upon the rank system? Or do you think we'll get completely new materials? Now for the next part of the video, this is where you really want to click away if you don't want any spoilers, and basically we have everything, not everything, but most of the info about 9.1 and classic TBC. So here we are on Wowhead looking at BlizzCon Line leaks. BlizzCon Line is happening this weekend, by the way, so we'll probably get even more information this weekend as well. But basically we have the name of the raid, we have the raid itself, the bosses, we have the dungeons, what's happening, the story, the new dungeons, and more, like gear up for Shadowlands Raid, Dungeons, and PvP Season 2, with a seasonal mythic keystone done in affix, themed around the Jailer's power, done in new Covenant cosmetic armor sets that any class can wear, expand the powers of your soul binds and conduit, maybe getting more legendaries and stuff, who knows, adding new mounts and pets to your menagerie, and here's the thing, unlock flying in the Covenants 4 domains, and much more. So by saying the Covenants 4 domains, this pretty much means we are getting flying in every single zone except for Oribos and the Maw. Oribos and the Maw and any other zone we might encounter later on, we probably won't have the flying for, but for Bastion, Maldraxxus, Revendreth, and Ardenweald we'll have flying. And they've already said flying will be tied to the renown, so we'll probably get 9.1 after hitting 40 renown, and let's say, I want to say flying will be renown 50, maybe, so I don't know how many weeks that will be into the new patch, depending on how many storylines we get, and if we get any more of those renown from the storylines. But basically we're getting flying. I would think the flying comes like 2, 3, 4 weeks into patch 9.1. I think everyone wants flying, at least most people want flying, It makes moving around easier, you can experience more of the world from above, and gathering materials will be even more profitable through herbalism and mining and stuff like that, even though they will be more accessible. The price will go down, so if you're stockpiling those things, I would probably get rid of that stockpile unless something drastic happens. But when flying comes out, it will be a lot more easily accessible to just fly around and loot things like herbs and mining veins. So we also have the logo for the thing itself. We have, this is what I think, Chains of Domination Anduin. I think we'll meet Anduin in the next raid. I said this on my stream several weeks ago. I think Anduin will get bent to the will of the jailer like happened in the cinematic that they posted several weeks ago. I think he just can't withstand that magic power thingy, and he will just have to abide by the will. We will have to defeat him or something, and then give him some holy light power back. So basically he will be a raid boss, we will fight him to save him, we will save him, and that's it. We have some other stuff down here, the Covenant armor, the Sanctuary, the dungeon, and some other things as well, and there we have flying. We also have Burning Crusade Classic being confirmed for 2021. We don't have any real window of opportunity for the launch itself, but it's 2021. If you're asking me, I think this will happen in summer 2021, basically in between the massive content drought of 9.1 and 9.2, so we'll get 9.1 first, and then I think Classic TBC will come out maybe 2 months after 9.1, so people can enjoy 9.1, and when they're bored of 9.1, we get TBC. So that is it for the spoilers themselves and for the video. Going back to the more recent things happening though, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one plays out right here. There's so many things they could do with this shipment. They could go back to something like we had in Legion, where you traded in Bloods of Sargeras for different items. And this actually goes all the way back to something like Wrath of the Lich King, where you got frozen runes. You got frozen runes from doing dungeons, they dropped from bosses, and they dropped from several places, but you could get them from bosses as well. And you can trade in those frozen runes for materials. So something like this goes back all the way to Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm really excited to see what they're doing with it. I would love it if they give us something like Legion for Blood of Sargeras. So I don't really enjoy doing dungeons all that much, but I still want to be able to buy these things. So I would love to see a Blood of Sargeras type of enchant on your shoulder, so I could just buy them by doing other things. Or maybe by getting Valor Points for doing my callings and doing world quests. That would be great as well. Give us, for example, 10 Valor Points for every world quest we do. That way, if I do 75 world quests, I'm capped. Or, yeah, 75 world quests, I'm capped. And that's one way of capping. It's going to be a really exhausting way. But you can do that by doing your callings. So you can do the callings and the world quests. And get some valor by doing that. And exchange that for some gold. I'm really excited to see where they take this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like down below. Leave a comment as well. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you again very soon.